Welcome to Football Scientific. I'm Aaron Sauter. I'm a writer for the UFL News Hub. I cover the San Antonio Brahmas of the UFL. I write for the CFL News Hub. I cover the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL. I cover the Cincinnati Bengals for footballanalysis1.com. Also on Football Scientific, I talk about the IFL, the Indoor Football League, the NAL, the National Arena League, and the ELF, the European League of Football. Today I'm joined by my guest host, Wolfie D. Wolfie D in the house! What? Wolfie D, Wolfie D, that's what I say. Wolfie D in the house. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I say whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, here, Wolfie D. So, what we have planned for today is we're going to start the show off with a preview of tomorrow's NFL Draft. Okay, we got a bunch of NFL draft news, NFL news along the way. It's going to affect the draft tomorrow. Remember, the NFL draft starts tomorrow. It's just round 1 tomorrow. It'll take like 4 hours. And then you have rounds 2 through 4 on Friday and 5 through 7, I believe, on Saturday. So we're looking out for the Cincinnati Bengals all week. I've been writing articles on footballanalysis1.com about the picks the Cincinnati Bengals should make. Today I did a summative article on who they should pick if they want to get an A+ rating in the draft this year. Now, commonly, the Bengals don't draft well. They've made a few good pickups, though. They got, T. Higgins, and they got Jamar Chase, and they got Joe Burrow. But a lot of times, they've hit and miss over the years. And they missed way more than they've hit. So, tomorrow's going to be a big day for them. They're trying to rebuild their defense. The offense is popping. Got to get that defense worked out. But with no extra wasted time here, let's talk about the NFL, getting ready for the NFL draft. Okay, first, Kansas City Chiefs. They conducted a virtual call with Ohio State running back Travion Henderson. Andy Reid was on the call. Previously, they really weren't that interested in running backs, but they decided, boom, the day before the draft, they were interested in Travion Henderson. Here's the deal. This close to the NFL draft, you're going to see a bunch of smoke screens. Everyone's trying to make sure no one knows who they're going to pick so they don't trade up and take their pick. Okay, so a bunch of teams are doing things that you would not expect them to do for these couple days. Then tomorrow, things will happen. It'll be pretty exciting. But this week, you can never really trust what you hear. But there are a few things out there that are important. Buffalo Bills running back James Cook did not report for voluntary workouts. I mentioned that yesterday. He wants a new deal, and he's probably not going to work out until he gets a new deal, some kind of extension. He's in the last year of his contract. Remember, it doesn't make sense for players in the NFL to work out and practice if you don't have the contract you want, because if you get injured, you're not going to get the contract you want, okay? All right, so that it makes sense to sit out. The NFL announced the preseason matchup at the Pro Football Hall of Fame game. The Detroit Lions will face the LA Chargers on July 31st. No Stars will play in that game, most likely. So it's not really that exciting. But it's nice to know. Pro Football Hall of Fame game. We're talking about NFL football now. It's going to be a preseason game. July 31st, Detroit Lions will play the LA Chargers. Okay. New Orleans Saints. They pick up wide receiver Chris Olaz. Okay. New Orleans Saints picked up wide receiver Chris Olave's 5th-year option. Okay, they picked up Chris Olave's 5th-year option. They are not picking up offensive tackle Trevor Penning's 5th-year option. And their kicker, Charlie Smith, he may not be a starting kicker for them, but he has been granted an international player exemption, meaning he doesn't count against their roster. So he might be on a practice squad or whatever. He doesn't count against their roster. He's an international player, and they want to reach out to those players and try to grow the game internationally. So Charlie Smith will not count against the New Orleans Saints roster. Okay, next, LA Rams head coach Sean McVay is not ruling out potentially trading with the Miami Dolphins for cornerback Jalen Ramsey, which is weird because right before he went to the Dolphins, he was with the LA Rams. He moved on. He wanted to go to the beach. The beach is busy. He wants to go back to LA. Maybe Sean McVay is saying after the draft, we could potentially trade for Jalen Ramsey. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Non-committal. Okay, non-committal. Wide receiver Devontae Adams released that when he was looking for a team to sign with, the San Francisco 49ers tried to lowball him and that's why he signed with the Rams, so he can face the 49ers every season and smash them in the face. Well, he's a receiver, so he's going to catch the ball and run past them, okay? All right, Baltimore Ravens tight end Mark Andrews is taking a lot of heat for dropping a 2-point conversion against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, essentially allowing the Bills to move on and get beat by the Chiefs. So Mark Andrews released a statement today. You know, his GM's like non-committal of bringing him back. It's all because of that drop, really. He had a pretty good season other than that. But he's saying basically in that game, his gloves were super wet. They were all soaked. And he was unsure if he should take them off before that last play. But he kept them on, and that's why he dropped the ball. Now, he should have dropped the ball, he said, but the gloves didn't help, and they were real wet. What? Okay, boom, NFL scouts are now saying quarterback Shedeur Sanders is probably the next Johnny Manziel. That's big time talking down of Shedeur Sanders. He's the next Johnny Manziel because of his attitude and stuff, I guess. That's crazy. You're going to hear crazy things, you know, up to this draft. There's a lot of jockeying for position. Someone said, the NFL scout said today, last year, quarterback Cam Ward would have been between Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix, which Bo Nix did pretty good. So if he's a little better than Bo Nix, he's solid. Although he doesn't have nearly as good a team as Bo Nix does with the Denver Broncos. Boop. All right, next, Jacksonville Jaguars. They believe running back Ashton Jeanty is a missing piece to their offense. Now, they have the number 5 pick. They're right before the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Raiders want to pick Ashton Jeanty. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars are saying, boom, Ashton Jeanty looks awesome. He's our missing piece. We're going to draft him. We're trying to entice. They would like to trade down in the draft. So they're trying to entice the Raiders to trade up, I believe. We'll see if it works. Chris Sims, who runs a Sirius show, plays the quarterback, blah, blah, blah. He says Brock Purdy isn't even a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And that's why you shouldn't pay him $60 million, $60 to $70 million. That's crazy. He is not a top 10 quarterback. He's had great weapons and a quarterback-friendly offense. That's why he's been any good at all. Okay, next. Several teams in the top 10 of the draft starting tomorrow are willing to trade down. They're in the first 10 picks. They're saying, we're willing to trade down. This draft is not what we're looking for. Now, it does have some key pieces the Bengals need, and that's why I went that article today. But a lot of the teams are like, we could draft these guys, but maybe we can get more draft picks. That'd be good. But no one's trying to trade up. They all know this is kind of a dog draft, okay? Boo. Sorry, Wolfie. Sorry, Wolfie. New York Giants head coach Brian Dable is now saying he's got his mind on quarterback Jackson Dart, and they may trade up for him. They're trying to entice movement. They're trying to get someone to trade up with them. I don't know, Jackson Dart. They've already said just 2 days ago they don't need a quarterback, but then they worked out all his quarterbacks. Now they're saying Jackson Dart looks like their dude. It's all smoke screens right now. I think the Giants are not going to. They're going to pick a defensive player. They're trying to pick Travis Hunter, I believe. Atlanta Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins, he's being pursued. He's out to workouts for the Falcons. He's ready to be a 45, that's me bench pressing. He's ready to be a $45 million backup quarterback. But the Minnesota Vikings, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Cleveland Browns are all interested in him. He still has a no trade clause. He's not going to waive it until after the trade, if ever. Remember, the Falcons would like the team that trades for him to pay at least $20 million of his current contract, which is a crazy $45 million for a backup quarterback. Right. He's never won a playoff game, I don't think. I don't think he's ever won a playoff game. San Francisco 49ers tight end George Kittle wants to be the highest paid tight end in the league. That will mean he'll surpass $76 million in his next contract. That's what he's telling the Niners. I want to be the top paid tight end in the league. And they're like, you're not even a tight end. You're a fullback. And he's like, no, I'm definitely a tight end. And they're like, no, you're definitely an H-back. And that's why he's like, no, $76 million. Give it to me. Okay, some teams are saying they now have Louisville quarterback Tyler Shaw, and as the highest rated quarterback in the draft. Yeah, right. Okay, sure. How about Tyler? Sure. Okay, you're the top rated quarterback in the draft. You can't trust these things. I'm still reading them though. Carolina Panthers defensive tackle Derek Brown. He said he'll be back for 2025. He missed all but one game last year with a meniscus injury in his knee. He says he's back and better than ever. At least until after the first week. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Pat Mahomes says that Rashee Rice, I call him Rashi, but as Rashee Rice should be ready to be back after his torn ACL September 19th. Pat Mahomes, who's a medical expert, said Rashee Rice looks real good. Looks real good. Rashi. I hope Mahomes doesn't have a Rashi. Okay, right. Minnesota Vikings, they cut 2 people. They cut offensive tackle Trevor Reed, and they cut cornerback Najee Thompson, probably, I guess. Pittsburgh Steelers are not actively pursuing a trade partner for wide receiver George Pickens, but the Green Bay Packers have an offer. They're like, we have an offer. That's what the Steelers said. We're not looking to trade him, but if you have a cool offer, we're all theirs. And the Green Bay Packers said, we got something. We're in Wisconsin. It's super cool. And I don't know. I haven't heard the offer yet. Neither of the Steelers. We'll see. Okay, next, LA Rams. They want to potentially trade up so they can get a tight end. Ooh, they're trying to get after the Jets, who are trying to get Tyler Warren to try to tight end his draft. The LA Rams are like, we want to trade up and get Tyler Warren. They're trying to entice some movement. They're trying to get people to give them some picks. Detroit Lions release quarterback Jake Fromm. Where's Jake from? Not Detroit. Georgia. It's from Georgia. University of Georgia. Las Vegas Raiders defensive end David Gohu. He's going to get the international player roster exemption. So that's nice. Defensive end, and he gets a player roster exemption. That's cool. That helps out the Raiders in their depth chart. Okay, Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Julian Welshaw. He's been granted an international player exemption. Seattle Seahawks cut nose tackle. It says nose tackle. Cameron Yancey. Goodbye, Cameron Yancey. You're such a Yancey. Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive tackle Lorenz Metz has been granted international player roster exemption, so he's going to be free for them. That's cool. Washington Commanders defensive end TJ Mugarago. He's got the international player exemption as well. A lot of player exemptions today. Okay? All right, so that's the NFL news. Remember, the draft is tomorrow. The first round of the draft is tomorrow. I got the Bengals taking Malachi Starks, but I should be quiet about that. There's only one really good safety in this draft, and the Bengals need him. Although everyone says they're going to take a defensive lineman. Yeah. Wrong call. All right, boom. Back from the NFL to the UFL. The week 4 players of the week were announced today. Offensive player of the week was quarterback Bryce Perkins from Michigan Panthers. He had a second week in a row being the offensive player of the week. And they're still deciding if he should be a starter versus Danny Etling. Mike Nolan. He's going to start Danny Etling over the back-to-back player of the week. They deserve to lose if they do that, okay? Defensive player of the week, defensive back Ajeen Harris. He's the one who intercepted the last pass against the St. Louis Battlehawks and ran it back for a touchdown to get the over. ESPN got in trouble for saying that. He got a pick 6. He won the game. He put it away, put it all into the Renegades. Nice job. Made it 13-15. Nice job, Ajeen Harris. Okay, and then special teams player of the week is a Brahma. What? Matthew Sexton. He returned the punt for a touchdown that broke that game open and helped the Brahmas get their first win of the season. Boom. Let's go Brahmas. Horns forward. Horns forward. Let's go Brahmas. Matthew Sexton. Let's get a second week in a row. Let's get a second win. Beat the Houston Roughnecks. A reminder, tomorrow is Predictapalooza. Before the NFL draft, I'll do my Predictapalooza video. We'll go through the IFL, NAL, and UFL predictions tomorrow before the NFL draft. Hopefully. Sometime tomorrow night we'll do it. Houston Roughnecks. Quarterback Jalen McClellan is going to be their starter. Why? Because Nolan Henderson got hurt last week, and he's been practicing, but C.J. Johnson's a little nervous about him and doesn't want to get him hurt worse, so they're just going to have him play backup quarterback or be the emergency guy. But running back Kirk Merritt will be back for the Roughnecks. Well, Brahms will have to come stop the run game. Also, safety Leon O'Neal should be back from a concussion protocol for the Houston Roughnecks. It's going to be a tough game for the Brahms against the Roughnecks. We got a big win against D.C. last week, though. If we can beat D.C., we can beat the Roughnecks. It's got to play smart football, okay? In the CFL, Canadian wide receiver Colton Hunchak retires. He's going to join the Calgary Stampeders coaching staff. Cool, he's got a career after he plays. The Minnesota Vikings have waived Saskatchewan Roughriders offensive lineman Trevor Reed. Okay, so Trevor Reed, who once was a Saskatchewan Roughrider, played for the Vikings, got released. Could he come back to the CFL? Probably not. He wants to make more money than that, but still interesting. He has a CFL connection. That's a guy who made it from the CFL to the NFL. Winnipeg Blue Bombers signed American defensive back Marquis Collins. He played at BYU. The Ottawa Red Blacks signed American running back Devontae Williams retired. So they had a running back retire. Devontae Williams, American running back for the Ottawa Red Blacks. Boom, and then Hamilton Tirecast, that's the team I covered directly. They signed American defensive back Brendan Dozier. He comes with a lot of experience. The 5'10", 200-pound Dozier played college football at UNC Charlotte. In his record, the official records, he played there in 2014 and 2015. 2014, they were an FCS team. He played 11 games, had 52 solo tackles, 34 assists, 1 interception for a touchdown, okay, for the 49ers, UNC Charlotte 49ers. 2015, they played FBS football. He played 12 games in FBS level, had 1 interception, 28 solo tackles, and 12 assists. So not quite as good, but the FCS is probably a good indicator of how the CFL plays. He also is a CFL veteran. 2017-2018, he played for the Montreal Alouettes. So he had 35 games, had 5 interceptions in 2018, 151 tackles, 2 quarterback sacks. Then in 2019, he went to the BC Lions, played 16 games, 1 interception, 70 tackles. And then Calgary Stampeders, he played there under defense coordinator Brent Monson, who's now the defense coordinator of the Tirecats. That's your connection between Dozier and the Tirecats now. He played for them 51 games for the Stampeders with Brent Monson. He had 2 interceptions, 184 tackles, 2 quarterback sacks, 2023. So, I mean, that's a good player. Probably going to be a Sam linebacker type for them, and they need all the help they can get. I'll be writing an article about Brendan Dozier sometime tomorrow on CFL News Hub, so check that out. I'll go through more details on Brendan Dozier tomorrow, okay? In the ELF, the European League of Football, there were several moves made. The Wroclaw Panthers, they have signed Latvian defensive lineman Laurenas Olavicius, okay? Vicious name, Olavicius, okay? Last year, he only played in 3 games in 2024. He played for the Raiders T-Roll Raiders, and the Fervar in Throners previously. He played 3 games last year before he got hurt. He had 17 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 1 safety, and 2 fumble recoveries. That's a really productive lineman in the ELF for 3 games. So if he can stay healthy, he's going to be huge for the Wroclaw Panthers. Next, the Raiders T-Roll or T-Roll Raiders, however you want to go about it. In Europe, they call them the Raiders T-Roll. They signed German Football League star defensive lineman Michi Vanderkoff, okay? He played last year for the New Yorker Lions in the German Football League. He played 12 games, had 26 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery. So that's really good in the GFL. That's the highest level of football in Europe behind the ELF. So we'll see if he transitions well to there. Boom. Okay. And then the Paris Musketeers, they re-signed defensive tackle Mamadou Sai. Okay. He's been playing in the ELF since 2021. He played for the Musketeers last year, 2024. Last year he played 12 games for the Musketeers, had 18 tackles, 2 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss. He's previously played for the Frankfurt Galaxy, and he's been around a little bit, and he knows how to play some football. There's also some breaking news. I'll let Wolfie D share breaking news. Okay. All right, we have breaking news in the NFL. Let me read it real quick. The Detroit Lions have agreed to pay made safety Kirby Joseph the highest paid safety in the NFL with an extension of 4 years, $86 million. That's crazy. Go Lions. Okay, all right, good job, Wolfie D. That's the first time Wolfie D's made an announcement like that, so you did a really good job, Wolfie D. Good job. All right, next in the IFL, part of our prediction tomorrow is the IFL, but they made some moves. The Quad City Steamwheelers have made a trade with the Northern Arizona Wranglers. They received offensive lineman Raul Espere, and they traded offensive lineman Tyrone Patterson to the Northern Arizona Wranglers. Okay, so they're trying to improve. Both teams are trying to improve their line. Steelers are trying to get a guy to upgrade. They're only one of the better offenses in the league. Northern Arizona is just trying to compete. Okay, Northern Arizona Wranglers also activated quarterback Ramon Atkins from the RTR list, and they released quarterback Christian Rombick. So they're trying to bring in a proven quarterback. Ramon Atkins has played in the IFL before. He's decent. So they're trying to get a more proven quarterback activated so that way they can have a chance to win a game. The Vegas Nighthawks signed defensive back Elijah Beatty, okay, and they signed offensive lineman Kyler Edwards, and they released defensive back Gleason Sprewell. And finally, in the NAL, the Beaumont Renegades, who are trying to go 4-0, they want to beat Sioux City Bandits again. They released wide receiver Jordan Smith, and they have placed defensive back Javante Howard on the 14-day IR list, so they're a little bit beat up. They've only played 3 games, though, so let's see how they do against the Sioux City Bandits again. All right, so that's it. So that's it for the announcements. Good job with Kirby Joseph becoming the highest paid safety in the NFL. Tomorrow's NFL Draft, round 1 of the NFL Draft. Check out my articles on footballanalysis1.com about Cincinnati Bengals and who they should draft. I went through a full analysis of position groups and stuff this week. It's pretty impressive. Tomorrow I will have an article put together for Brendan Dozier coming to the Tiger Cats, and we're preparing to see the Brahmas play the Roughnecks this weekend on Sunday. So tomorrow will be our prediction palooza, and it should be a pretty great time. Probably a quick video. Depends on how busy the day is, but the NFL Draft will be that night, and that'll be most of the NFL news, you know. So we'll see what happens there. All right, so hope you have a good night. Thanks for joining us for Football Scientific. Thanks for joining me and Wolfie D. What up? Have a good night, y'all. Have a good night. Wolfie D is always watching you. I'm always watching you. That's creepy, Wolfie D. Remember, check out articles on UFL News Hub if you like the UFL. CFL News Hub if you like the CFL. Footballanalysis1.com. Not only did I have my Cincinnati Bengals articles, but they have a ton of other articles. This is a loaded website, okay? So if you like the NFL and you want to know current information right now, footballanalysis1.com is on there. As always, if you enjoyed the video, like it. Boop, we got a new subscriber today. Boop, we're at 82. We need to get to 100, okay, 100. So that way we are moving in the right direction. We can get a sponsorship and we can get paid. Okay, that would be great. We're going to get paid for Football Scientific. If you want to see something, let me know. But we'll be a busy week here. In a few weeks, things will get way less busy, and we'll have a chance to really dig into some stuff, so that'd be fun, okay? Oh, well, have a good night. The Football Scientific portal is now going to close. Good night, good night, good night.